Just in case you see me out today. Connectors, what's up? DK here. Hope you're having a great day. St. Patrick's Day 2017. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you and yours. Now look, you don't have to be Irish to enjoy the day, but what you do have to be is responsible. So even though my shirt says, of course, I drink well with others, just take it easy. You know, this is not amateur hour. Let the professionals handle this. Slainte. So St. Patrick's Day, what's been going on? Well, a couple things. First, NCAA tournament. That's going on, and my bracket's already busted, so that's great. Here's another thing. It snowed a ton here in the Northeast, and that was terrible for the last couple of days. A lot of road closures, a lot of power outages, schools canceled, bedlam. But yeah, it's getting better now, and yay March. And then actually probably the most important thing that's happened is the president put out his skinny budget. I'm not skinny. So what's a skinny budget? Well, it's just sort of the introduction to the budget process. It's sort of the high level, chop down, here's what we're talking about kind of thing. But the biggest thing for the nonprofit sector is to pay attention to aren't necessarily the highlights that you see on the news or the clickbait that's happening in your social media. The big things that we hear is like defense has gone up, EPA is getting cut huge, and things like Meals on Wheels are falling apart. Well, if you stop right there and you think about it, there's probably a lot more that you really need to pay attention to. So let's talk a little bit about what it means about things like policy and the nonprofit sector's role, because believe you me, if we stay on the sidelines, this kind of budget, this kind of administration could be really detrimental for a lot of us that are doing work for the men and women in our community. First, a budget is a set of values. So don't worry about the numbers. Think about what it means to say, I want to represent these programs, I want to cut these programs. What it says about you as an organization, the budget shows that in actual real dollars. The amount of money we're investing in something, the things that we're focused on, we're going to emphasize certain points. A budget can do that. So take a look at the budget in terms of what is a value for us. And then as a sector, we need to think about it and say, how do we counter that and say the values that represent our community are not represented in this budget? So look at it from just sort of an existential standpoint. Value is everything. What are the values being represented by the numbers on the paper? Then the next thing is advocacy. Now, very often our sector gives away this power to a very small percentage of the nonprofits who are advocate groups, or to another group entirely, thinking that the nonprofit sector is not supposed to be an advocacy engine. And I disagree with this wholeheartedly. We are the tip of the spear when it comes to direct and indirect human services that happen on the ground in our community. There are no other voices that need to be heard than the nonprofit sector's voice when it comes to talking about policy. There are politics and there are political answers, and that's what you hear on the news, and that's the clickbait that they're asking you to click on to read an article. But deep inside the conversations, the policy, where the rubber hits the road, that's where we come in, because more often than not, when policy is being pushed into community and being pushed into practice, we're usually the ones that are doing it. So it is in our best interest, and it is the community's best interest, that we have a voice and that we use that voice to talk about, from a policy standpoint, what is the best way to represent our community when it comes to our budget. And nonprofiteers, don't shy away from this. Don't think that this is something you can't do. Get in front of your city council, get in front of your mayor, your county commissioners, your state representatives, your state senators, your governor. You can do this, and not at the time when another group says we're having advocacy day, so show up for that. No, you have a right to do this at any point. In fact, the obligation of the sector, of us to do this, is much larger than I think we realize. And at a time like this, when a budget on a federal level comes out, knowing that this is going to trickle down all the way to our local community, this is the time that we need to rally our voice together. So do not shy away from this, nonprofiteers. We have an obligation, in fact, we have a dedication within our missions to do these things. Voice for the voiceless. And nonprofiteers, the last thing I'd say on this is rallying. And I don't mean you rally like take to the streets and signs and everything. I mean rally the organization that you represent. So rally your volunteers and your donors, your board and your staff. Get them excited, get them interested in what's happening. Again, we don't move away from what our mission is and our direct work that we need to get our head down and work the projects that we're on. But it's simply to say, everybody, put an eye on this, put an ear on what you're hearing, and make sure we all collectively realize what is going on at the next level above us, what's going on at the city government, county, state, federal, all these kind of things, one way or the other. Federal down to local, local up to federal. We have to keep an eye on these things, but we have enough people. We are surprisingly, we always forget the power of us, our individual organizations, and the power of our sector. It's because we are in the people business, and there are more of us that are really involved in what we do from a mission standpoint than there are them, the politicians that are making the decisions. And that's the nature of our representative democracy, right? We pick people to represent groups of us to go and vote and voice our opinions. So by definition, they'll be smaller and we'll be larger. Well, the opposite of that is just as effective. We need to keep an ear to the ground and an eye on TV and media, see what's happening, and share that information. Do not feel bad about people sharing information saying, hey, did you see this article? Hey, did you see this news clip? Hey, did you see this on social media? This is the way that we can move information, and then from there, harness that into something that we can be effective on. So rally your troops, your individual groups, and then as a nonprofit sector in your local community, rally them together collectively to say, hey, wait a minute, this is something that's affecting us. If we hear just Meals on Wheels, it could very easily just suggest they're looking at that program. But when we hear Meals on Wheels, what we should think as a sector is what they're hurting are the human services and the direct services that we provide. Now it's Meals on Wheels, but it could be something else. It could be something in the homeless sector. It could be arts. It could be the humanities. All of these things are a part of it. So yes, take what you know and then rally others to learn even more. Because as again, Saturday morning cartoons didn't lie, knowledge is power. So nonprofiteers, I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I do appreciate it. You got any questions or comments for me, please shoot them in the doobly-doo or send me an email, doug@connectthedotsmovement.org. I'd be happy to reply to you within 24 hours, pinky swear. Also, if you like this video, please like it and share it. Here it is right here on facebook.com/connectthedotsmovement. We're also on Twitter, so you can follow us there at WeConnectDots. I thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate your time. My name is DK. I'm with Connect the Dots Movement, and you have just been connected. Nonprofit power.